Hey there, I'm Alan Matthews from Classical Guitar Shed, and we are going to be talking about the G major scale. Goes with that big old G chord you know and love, and this chord you will find in many pieces of music that include the G chord. So if you enjoy this, please do subscribe to this channel, and also you can find at the link below a printout of this and many other of the open scale positions for guitar. So looking here, we have the grid, and on the grid we can play from the lowest sounding note, that is on the far left, and then up each string. And then back down if you wish. Here on the staff we have the tablature, and so then this represents fret numbers, not finger numbers, though they do coincide here, down here. And then on the musical staff, we have numbers with circle around them, and that means string numbers. So this is the 6th string. First string is the high string. And then we also have numbers beside the note heads, and those are finger numbers. The brackets here just mean stay on that string for that many notes. When you're first learning a scale, you can use any right hand finger you want. Don't think about the right hand, just focus on the scale shape, and then you can work on your right hand technique later. Right hand technique is beyond the scope of this video, but at the link below, you can find tutorials on right hand scale technique that will set you in the right direction. So playing this, we have the 3rd fret, the low G on the 6th string, and then on the next string we have O, 2, 3, easy as A, B, C. And then D, E, F sharp, so O2, 4 here, O2, 4, and then O2 on the 3rd string, O1, 3 on the 2nd string, and then O2, 3 on the 1st string, and then we can just go back down that if you wish. So this is the G scale. A couple of tips for your left hand when you're playing this: always keep your hand in a nice C shape when you're playing. Rotate it around, supinate it around if you want to use that word, like a soup bowl. Open it up, or like turning a doorknob, so that your little finger stays curved. We want to avoid putting this big knuckle of the index finger or the meat of the thumb, the pad down here against the back of the guitar. So we don't want to glue it here. We don't want to glue it here. We want to keep just the thumb touching on the back. And that thumb stays behind the fingers, doesn't cross over that index finger line. If you're playing way down here, it's going to really want to, and that means that your fingers aren't going to work nearly as well as if you get the neck up. You can put a throw pillow under there, or get a guitar support, or a strap, or anything else, a footstool. But just get that neck up a little bit so you can get under it and rotate your hand a little bit. And that's going to make this so much easier in your fingers so that you're not having to really stretch to get places. One more tip with that thumb: keep the meat of the pad of the thumb on the back of the guitar instead of doing like this. Don't play with the tip like this. That creates a lot of tension in the hand. So instead, keep that thumb nice and elongated all the time. Great, so as you start learning this, and as you memorize the pattern up and down, which you should, don't rely on the page all the time, then one of the things you want to do is keep it in as steady a rhythm as possible. So this is one of the things that you're training when you play scales, is your internal rhythm and your ability to press a note and release a note at exactly a particular point in time. So with that metronome, if you use a metronome, keep it really steady. And if you need tips on using a metronome, you can find them down at the link below. You can find metronome tips down there as well, or links to them. So the next thing you can think about in playing your scales is how one note connects to another. And this is another thing, this is part of your right hand technique. It's synchronizing the hands. So listening to the way that this low G connects to the A and doesn't overring, because that's ugly. So there's a release on each one. And trying to butt those two notes up, it's especially hard on notes that are on the same string, because you have to stop the string and then replay it with your right hand. So synchronizing all that and connecting them as much as possible is great scale practice. It's one of the things we do for scale practice. Another thing, with your left hand, try to keep your fingers as low as possible. Ideally, when you play one finger, another finger doesn't fly up. Now, if it does, it's okay. Just tell it to come back down. And in time, it will. So you don't want notes to be flying up like this whenever they're the ones not playing. So keep an eye on keeping your fingers low. One of the things you may notice is when you're playing a scale that uses all 6 strings, that to keep your hand in a nice C shape and move down, your thumb might want to hop down just a little bit, and it's okay if it does that. You don't have to glue your thumb in one place and then move around it. Your thumb can slide or just bounce a little bit here and there. It's okay. It doesn't need to glue. You don't have to bounce your thumb around or slide it, but you can if you want to. And also, last thing, whenever you're going up to the top, make sure that you keep space in your hand this way in your C shape, even as you get here. So down here, this part of your hand, whenever you're playing the low notes, this part of your hand, the low sounding notes, this part of your hand is very close to the bottom of the guitar. It might even lightly touch, right? So we have a full guitar in there. We don't want to keep it there and then squish our fingers up top like this. We don't want to do that. Instead, let it come down so that there's always space in the fingers. The fingers always have a nice curve, not too much. We don't want to put them at the extreme of their curve by doing this. Instead, give it some space. We don't want it to be flat all the way up here, and we don't want it to be scrunched all the way up here. So give it some space. And so if your thumb needs to move just a little bit, or if you need to rotate just a little bit, that's okay. And once you go up, you can also go back down. And if you would like to print out this page and also a bunch of other scales, you can do so at the link below. There's a free PDF down there for you. Lovely. So I hope that you have enjoyed this exploration of the G major scale. It's a good one, and you'll certainly see it in your music. And please subscribe to this channel if you would like to. Pick up the PDF, and I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.